Now Little King posts this paperwork, right? And here's the thing I don't like about this paperwork. This is an actual case. For those of us that know, we know this is an actual case. Now let me read this paper.
King Harris just dropped paperwork claiming 50 Cent cooperated with the feds, and the internet is in full meltdown mode right now. We're talking about the same 50 who built his whole image calling out snitches. The same guy who turned Tekashi 6ix9ine into a non-stop joke for cooperating. Now King Harris comes through with court documents showing 50's name all over the place, and 50 finally broke his silence. No cap. This might be one of the wildest hip-hop scandals of 2024. This is the man who wrote Many Men, survived 9 shots, and made a career clowning Ja Rule, Rick Ross, and anybody else over street credibility. Now he's the one facing talk that he told on somebody back in the day. After King Harris posted those documents, 50 responded, and what he said caught everyone off guard. The timeline is messy and the tension way thicker than anybody expected. Let's unpack how this even got this far. 50 Cent isn't just another rapper, he's hip-hop royalty. Over 30 million records sold, survived a near-fatal shooting, flipped himself into a TV powerhouse and business mogul worth serious money. His whole brand screams untouchable. Stand tall, never fold, never snitch. That's the image. That's the code he pushed for years. Then King Harris, T.I.'s son, steps in and challenges all of that. And this isn't just random social media noise. This hits at reputation, at legacy, at the so-called street code 50 has preached for 2 decades. When you spend years calling other rappers fake, people are gonna look extra hard at you when your name pops up in paperwork. That's just how it goes. And if these allegations actually stick, it could flip how fans see one of hip-hop's most respected figures. That's why this moment feels different. This isn't petty gossip. It's about credibility, about whether the image matches the history. To understand how everything blew up, we gotta rewind to early 2024. 50 Cent and T.I. had mutual respect. 2 big names from different eras, both with long resumes, both knowing the grind. No public smoke between them. Meanwhile, King Harris, T.Y.'s 19-year-old son, was carving out his own lane. He stayed active online, posting music, lifestyle clips, flexing a little, normal stuff for a young artist with a famous dad. Sometimes he acted his age, sometimes he talked big. That's when 50 started watching. And if you know 50, you know one thing, he loves to troll on Instagram. 50's trolling isn't just a hobby, it's basically his second job at this point. He's gone after everybody from Diddy to his own son, Marquise. Nobody is off limits when it comes to internet smoke. So when King Harris started posting content that 50 thought was funny, he did what he always does. He reposted it with clown emojis and slick captions, letting his 30 million followers join the joke. At first, it looked harmless. Just 50 being 50, cracking jokes and stirring the pot. King would post a video flexing, and 50 would throw it on his page with captions like, "This is T.I.'s son," or "The youth is lost." Regular social media trolling, nothing too wild. But here's where it flipped. King didn't back down. Instead of going quiet like most people do when 50 calls them out, the 19-year-old fired back. He told 50 he was too grown to be picking on somebody younger. He called him out for acting like a bully. That's the moment things could have cooled off, but they didn't. 50 kept pressing. The posts started going deeper than jokes. It wasn't just memes anymore. 50 began questioning T.I.'s parenting, hinting that Tip couldn't control his own son. He suggested King wasn't built like he claimed, throwing shade at his credibility. Now, it wasn't just playful trolling, it felt personal. T.I. stayed quiet at first. Maybe he thought it would fade out. Maybe he expected both sides to move on. But 50 kept pushing the line. Then he stepped into dangerous territory. He brought Tiny into it. Tamika Tiny Harris, T.Y.'s wife and King's mother, had nothing to do with the back and forth. But 50 started posting about her, making comments about her appearance and dragging up old rumors. He shared side-by-side photos from years apart and joked about plastic surgery. It wasn't subtle. It wasn't light. It was direct disrespect. He even mentioned past allegations involving T.Y. and Tiny, claims they denied and were never charged over. That move right there changed the energy, because now it wasn't just about rap jokes or social media clout. It was about family. And King saw those posts and snapped. He jumped on Instagram Live, visibly heated, saying 50 crossed a serious line. You could see it in his face. This wasn't for clicks anymore. This was personal. You can say whatever you want about me, but you're gonna disrespect my mama. Nah, that's different. You just opened the door, you can't close, old man. That's what King said on Live, and the energy shifted instantly. Over 200,000 people were watching in real time, flooding the comments. Some were warning him, saying 50 would end his career. Others were backing him up, saying he had every right to defend his mother. It was chaos in the chat, and the tension was heavy. But here's what most people didn't see coming. King wasn't just venting, he was plotting. While 50 kept posting memes and cracking jokes, King was digging into paperwork. Quiet, focused, and what he claims he found? That was about to flip the whole storyline upside down. The back and forth online got louder by the day. 50 stayed in character, brushing King off like he was just some loud teenager looking for clout. He reposted King's content with captions like, "T.I. come get your son before I really hurt his feelings, and this boy think he tough." To 50, it was just another troll session. But King didn't fold. King fired back with videos calling 50 a bully. He said the rapper was insecure and only picked on younger people to stay relevant. You 48 years old worried about a teenager. That's crazy. You're supposed to be a mogul, but you on Instagram all day like a high school girl. Those clips started racking up thousands of likes, and people noticed something. King wasn't scared. Eventually, T.I. stepped in during an interview. He kept it respectful but made it clear he wasn't feeling it. He said King is young, still growing, and he didn't understand why 50 kept pushing. He even said, "That's not the 50 I know." It sounded like he wanted peace. But 50? He wasn't trying to hear that. He reposted the interview clip with laughing emojis, doubling down like none of it mattered. The trolling didn't slow down. It got louder. Then March 15, 2024 hit, and that's when everything froze. King Harris uploaded a string of Instagram stories with what he claimed were court documents, screenshots, names, dates. The caption said, "Since you want to talk about who's real and who's fake, let's talk about what you did in 2005. You're the biggest snitch in hip-hop and everybody's scared to say it." And just like that, the whole internet stopped scrolling. The documents King posted looked like they came straight out of a federal case file, and 50 Cent's government name, Curtis Jackson, was stamped all over them. The second those screenshots hit Instagram, people started grabbing them fast. Twitter lit up. TikTok went wild. Within an hour, both 50 Cent and King Harris were trending worldwide. This wasn't just internet jokes anymore. This was a career-level accusation. King wasn't vague either. He dropped paperwork tied to a 2005 federal case involving Kenneth Supreme McGriff. And if you know 50's history, that name is serious. Supreme wasn't just some random figure. He was known in Queens, New York, as the head of the Supreme Team, a drug organization that made major headlines back in the 1980s. By the early 2000s, McGriff was trying to step into the music business, but there was already deep tension between him and 50. There had long been rumors that McGriff had connections to the 2000 shooting where 50 was hit 9 times and survived. 50 lived through it, rebuilt himself, and turned that pain into power. By 2003, he dropped Get Rich or Die Trying and became one of the biggest names in hip-hop. But before that, he released a track called Ghetto Quran. That song mentioned real names and described alleged street activity connected to people in Queens, including figures tied to the Supreme Team. It was bold, it was detailed, and it stirred serious anger. According to federal prosecutors at the time, McGriff was later accused of ordering violence tied to multiple incidents, though he denied wrongdoing. When one alleged plan didn't succeed, investigators believed the conflict continued around people connected to 50's circle. In 2002, Eric E. Moneybags Smith was killed. That same year, Jam Master Jay of Run DMC was murdered in his Queens studio. Years later, federal authorities connected McGriff to broader criminal activity during that era as part of their case. Now here's the key moment. The documents King Harris posted showed that during the 2005 federal case against Kenneth McGriff, Curtis Jackson, 50 Cent, was listed in connection with the investigation as a cooperating witness. That single detail is what set everything on fire. Now this part really matters because not all cooperation is the same. There are levels to it. Sometimes a person is forced to testify because of a subpoena. That means you legally have no choice. Other times, someone meets with investigators on their own and provides information voluntarily. That's a big difference, especially when people start talking about street code. The documents King posted suggested that 50 had multiple meetings with federal agents and shared information about Kenneth McGriff's alleged threats and activities, according to the court filings. It stated that Curtis Jackson met with FBI agents at least 3 times between 2003 and 2005. One filing claimed Jackson gave information about threats made against him by McGriff and individuals connected to him. One document specifically mentioned that Curtis Jackson provided detailed accounts of conversations and incidents involving Kenneth McGriff that supported other evidence investigators were already building. That alone raised eyebrows. But what really turned up the heat was this. According to the paperwork King shared, 50's meetings reportedly happened before he was officially called to testify in court. And in the culture 50 has spoken about for years, that distinction hits different. There's a major gap between being ordered to show up in court publicly versus voluntarily sitting down with federal agents behind closed doors. The documents King posted pointed toward the second scenario, and that's what made social media explode. One of the pages that went viral was an FBI 302 form. That's the standard report agents use to document interviews. The form, dated August 2005, described a meeting where Curtis Jackson allegedly provided information about McGriff's involvement in the music industry and other alleged criminal activity. The report described Jackson as cooperative and forthcoming, saying he provided useful intelligence regarding operations and associations. Another document King highlighted suggested that information from Jackson was used as part of the process to secure wiretaps on McGriff's phones. In federal investigations, judges only approve wiretaps when there's probable cause, and witness statements can play a role in building that foundation. So the claim wasn't just that 50 spoke to agents, it was that his cooperation may have been significant in strengthening the overall case. That's why the narrative shifted so fast. And King didn't just post the paperwork and disappear. He jumped on Instagram Live and started breaking down what he believed it all meant piece by piece. Y'all see this? This the same man who made a whole career off calling people snitches. He destroyed Kashi's life for cooperating. He clowned gunplay. He went at Jarul. He questioned everybody's street cred. But look at this paperwork. Curtis Jackson met with the feds multiple times, voluntarily gave them information, helped them build a case. That's the definition of cooperating. That's what King said on Live, holding up the documents for the camera, and the chat went wild. Over 500,000 people tuned in while the comments poured in non-stop. Some defended 50, saying he survived being shot 9 times and had every right to protect himself. Others didn't want to hear that. They argued that cooperation is cooperation, no matter the reason. The debate was loud, split straight down the middle. King kept going. I ain't making this up. These are federal court documents, public record. Y'all can look this up yourselves. Case number 05CR00539. United States versus Kenneth McGriff. Go read it. Curtis Jackson is listed as a witness who provided information to federal agents. And before y'all say he was subpoenaed and had no choice, read the dates he was meeting with them before he was officially called to testify. That's voluntary cooperation. He wasn't whispering about it either. He was calling it out directly, telling viewers to check the records themselves. That made it hit harder because now people weren't just arguing off rumors. They were digging through case files. But the story got even more layered. In 2008, when McGriff's case went to trial, 50 initially did not want to testify in open court. Reports from the time said he raised concerns about his safety and how it would impact his image. The judge reportedly warned about possible contempt if he refused. Eventually, his legal team arranged for his prior statements to investigators to be entered into evidence instead of him taking the stand in person. That detail added fuel to the conversation. King pointed it out on Live too. He argued that 50 provided information but avoided the public witness stand, saying it showed he understood how it would look. See, he gave the feds all the information they needed, but then tried to avoid testifying in public because he knew how it would look. He wanted to help the feds but not get caught doing it. That's even worse for real. At least own what you did. And once those specific details started spreading, the situation got even heavier. According to the FBI 302 forms, Curtis Jackson told agents about meetings where McGriff allegedly spoke on drug operations. He shared information about associates and the roles they reportedly played. He also described threats made against him and explained the background of his song Ghetto Quran and why it created tension. Prosecutors used that information to help establish motive and paint a picture of what they described as an ongoing criminal enterprise. One document that really caught attention claimed 50 provided insight into McGriff's finances, including allegations that drug money was being funneled through music industry investments. That kind of financial detail is exactly what federal prosecutors look for when building larger conspiracy cases. And in multiple filings, Jackson's cooperation was referenced as part of the overall evidence. Kenneth McGriff was eventually convicted in 2007 on murder for hire charges and sentenced to life in prison. The case involves several witnesses and different pieces of evidence, but reports from the time show that 50's statements were included as part of the prosecution's argument. During sentencing, the judge noted that testimony about alleged threats and ongoing criminal behavior showed a danger to the community. That made the paperwork feel even heavier once it resurfaced. For nearly 48 hours after King Harris posted those documents, 50 said nothing. No memes, no jokes, no trolling, and that silence, it felt loud. This is someone who usually posts every few hours, so when he went quiet, people started speculating. Some thought his legal team told him to chill. Others believed he was crafting the perfect response. Either way, the internet took the silence as a bad sign. Then on March 17th, 50 finally spoke up. He posted a video on Instagram and addressed everything head on. Y'all really think I'm worried about some paperwork from 20 years ago? Let me explain something to you. Kids who don't understand how the real world works when someone tries to kill you, and I mean really tries to kill you, shoots you 9 times and leaves you for dead. You have every right to protect yourself. The feds came to me. I didn't go to them. They had a case already. They asked me questions about threats against my life. That's not snitching. That's survival. He didn't stop there. Kenneth McGriff tried to have me murdered multiple times. He killed people around me. You think I'm supposed to just stay quiet and let him keep trying? Nah, I did what I had to do to protect myself and my family. With that response, 50 flipped the narrative from cooperation to self-defense, and the internet split all over again. And for the record, I never testified in court. I never sat on a witness stand and pointed at nobody. The feds used information I gave them about threats against me. That's different. That's how 50 opened his defense, drawing a clear line between sitting in court and speaking to investigators. Then he turned his focus straight to King Harris. And this kid, T.I.'s son, talking about some paperwork he found on the internet. He wasn't even born when this happened. You don't know nothing about what I went through. You living off your daddy's name, posting on Instagram, thinking you tough. I survived the streets. I survived getting shot 9 times. I built an empire. What have you done? You're 19 years old with no accomplishments talking about me? That's crazy. The clip exploded online, pulling in millions of views within hours. The internet instantly split into 2 camps. Some people said 50 had a point. They argued that giving information about threats against your own life, especially after surviving a shooting, isn't the same as turning on your own circle. To them, that's self-preservation. Others weren't buying it. They pointed out that 50 built a big part of his public image on calling out anyone who cooperated with law enforcement, no matter the reason. For years, he showed no sympathy, no context, no gray area. So now critics were asking, does he get a different rule because it's him? King Harris didn't stay quiet. He jumped back on Instagram Live and pushed back hard. Now he want to explain it. Now he want to give context. But when it was Tekashi, when it was anybody else, he didn't care about context. He didn't care about reasons. He just called them rats and destroyed their careers. You can't have it both ways. Either cooperating with the feds is wrong, or you don't get to decide when it's okay based on if it's you or someone else. King also addressed 50's point about not testifying in open court. And he's saying he never testified in court like that makes it better, bro. You met with FBI agents multiple times. You gave them detailed information. You helped them build their case. The only reason you didn't testify in person is because you didn't want people to see you do it. That's not better. That's worse. You wanted to help the feds but hide it from the public. That argument spread fast across social media. Rappers, bloggers, and hip-hop commentators all started weighing in. Some defended 50, saying the McGriff situation involved serious alleged violence and wasn't comparable to other cases. Others argued that if you preach a strict code, there can't be exceptions. And just like that, the culture was debating what loyalty really means. If you talk to the feds, you are a snitch regardless of the circumstances. That was the energy spreading across timelines everywhere. But 50 wasn't backing off. He posted again, and this time the tone got way more aggressive. King Harris, you really want to keep going. I'll expose everything about your family. I'll show the world what T.I. really is. I'll show what your mama really did. You think you did something by posting old paperwork? I got current information that'll destroy your whole family legacy. Try me. That message hit different. Now, it wasn't just about defending himself. It sounded like a warning aimed straight at T.I. and Tiny's personal life. The temperature went up fast. That's when T.I. stepped in publicly, and this time it was more direct. 50, you my brother, but you threatening my family now over some Instagram beef with my son. That's not how we move. Let's talk man to man, not on social media. That post made it clear. This had gone past jokes, past trolling, past memes. It was personal now. As things stand, the situation is still unfolding. The paperwork King Harris posted has been confirmed by multiple reporters to be real court documents connected to the Kenneth McGriff case. They do show that 50 cooperated with federal agents during that investigation. That part isn't rumor, it's documented. The real debate is what that cooperation means. Some see it as survival, others see it as breaking a code. And the biggest angle people keep bringing up is hypocrisy. For years, 50 built part of his brand on mocking and criticizing others who worked with law enforcement. When Tekashi 6ix9ine cooperated, 50 turned it into non-stop jokes and viral posts. He questioned other artists' credibility too, over and over again. Now that his own past cooperation is under a spotlight, his defense is simple. His situation was different. But critics are saying you can't preach one rule for everybody else and then switch it when it's your turn. That's where the tension lives. The culture is split. Older fans who remember the real-life violence and threats around that era tend to be more understanding. They argue that 50 was protecting himself after serious attempts on his life. On the other side, strict code supporters say talking to federal agents is talking to federal agents. No exceptions. One thing is clear though, King Harris earned attention by coming with actual documents and standing firm. Whether people agree with him or not, he didn't just talk. He brought receipts. Whether you agree with King or not, he came prepared. He didn't just throw words around, he pulled documents, pointed to case numbers, and told people to go verify it themselves. In a clash where most expected 50 to completely overpower him, King stood firm and backed up his claims with receipts. That alone earned him a level of credibility nobody saw coming. Now T.I. is stuck in a tough spot. On one side, that's his son. On the other, that's someone he's called a friend in the industry. He's trying to cool things down while also making it clear that threats toward his family aren't acceptable. That balancing act isn't easy, especially when the whole internet is watching every move. As for 50 Cent, let's keep it real. The man has survived worse. He survived being shot 9 times. He survived bankruptcy headlines. He survived endless rap beefs. His loyal fan base isn't going anywhere overnight. But in hip-hop, labels stick, and the word snitch is one of the hardest to shake. Even if people understand his explanation, the moral high ground he used when calling out others, that took a hit. Zoom out, and this situation is bigger than just two families arguing online. It's about hip-hop culture itself. For decades, cooperating with law enforcement was seen as the ultimate violation of street code. No excuses, no context. But as the industry grew more corporate and more mainstream, those hard lines started to blur. Artists move differently now. Business, safety, survival, it's complicated. The conversation King sparked forced people to confront the contradictions. Can there be exceptions? Does survival change the rules? Or is the code no matter what? That debate isn't dying down anytime soon. No cap, this is easily one of the wildest rap beefs of 2024, and it's still unfolding. 50 isn't known for letting things slide, and King already proved he's not scared to push back. The paperwork is public, the opinions are loud, the culture is divided. And let's be honest, King Harris did what most thought was impossible. He got under 50 Cent's skin and made him respond defensively. That's something even Ja Rule couldn't pull off. If you've made it this far, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, drop your thoughts in the comments, and share this video with somebody who needs to see it. Let's talk about it.